Yeah, Team Alternate and Team Wellmet, very strong teams right now in Europe, vying for this qualification spot for the Gosu Cup number 2. And yeah, so we've seen Wellmet run a lot of Zeratul as of late, going for Void Prison setups and stuff like this, kind of wombo combo setups, but also adding a little bit of making kind of a versatile comp. So not completely relying on the wombo, but definitely making it a huge threat of their comp. Whereas alternate, they kind of been playing a lot of Zagara comps and running their own wombos as well, but doing it via the Zagara hero. And yeah, I mean, we just saw a crazy game on the alternate language stream between
Yeah.
Well Met and the team was called
Olaf.
Olaf.
Yeah, Olaf wants
Yeah.
donuts, I think.
Yeah, and they were running this backdoor style against Wellmet, and it was doing pretty well. They had a Nidus Worm Zagara, they had Vikings, they had Abathur, they had Sylvanas, and they had Brightwing for that disengage in the global presence. But Wellmet able to just kind of go for the core and making it here to phase alternate.
Yeah, and Alternate have played a best of one on Mines, which was up against Team Next, and that was pretty close. Their early game wasn't the greatest, but they had really great skull management, which was able to keep them through and take the win. And they also had a pretty easy game up against ESC on Cursed Hollow, where their Zagara, Moors, and their Zeratul Void Prisms really came into play there. So this time we're going to have a best of one on Sky Temple. We're seeing a Tyrande ban coming out from Well Met and the Vikings ban from Alternate.
Yeah, I really like the Vikings ban from second pick. If I were to play in a tournament, I would definitely ban the Vikings because I feel the first pick Vikings can be such a threat, especially on a map here like Sky Temple. But we did see the Tyrande ban coming out from Wellmet, and they're going to start things off with a first pick onto Illidan.
Yeah, and if Illidan's open, you're probably going to take it so early on. Unlike Alternate, who actually saved it up until last pick in the previous game on Mines. They kind of had the Tacita first pick, and they also grabbed the Malfurion early on as well. But Illidan somehow made it all the way through all the phases of the draft to be taken last. This time, though, Wellmet putting a lot of priority on it. And I guess we could have assumed that from the Tyrande ban. They don't want to go up against the Tyrande with the Illidan.
No, certainly not. And yeah, it's going to be an Illidan comp here for Wellmet, but we do have the response from Team Alternate. They're going to go for the Jaina Sylvanas combo, two of the premier picks right now, especially Jaina, the top assassin. If you consider ranged assassins, she just does so much burst damage. And yeah, obviously that other top tier assassin going over to Wellmet in the form of Illidan. But in addition to the Jaina on alternate, it's going to be Sylvanas, and she is very, very strong at pushing, especially on a map like Sky Temple, where the map mechanic is also doing pushing for you as well. And Sylvanas, I mean, can be a really nice pick against Illidan as well. Getting a big willing arrow off on the healer and or Illidan in of a Illidan comp can prove to be quite devastating.
Yeah, it certainly can as well. Might add to their damage sources by grabbing the Vala in there as well, just to make sure they've got the range damage, and they're going to go for the Zagara as well here. So really taking that pick away from Alternate. We know they like playing with it alongside the Diablo and the Zeratul as well, taking that one away. And Wellmet have their damage sorted. They can now focus on their support and their warrior, and they're happy for Alternate to pick those roles ahead of them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess Alternate could go for the healer and tank here, since you mentioned, they do have their damage squared away. And what will it be from Alternate? I mean, ETC can be a quite nice pick on this map. You have the option of Stage Dive, which is very strong on Sky Temple. Global Presence being a very nice pick on this map. And yeah, can also deny that from Well Met, because they do need a warrior at the moment. We did talk about this option in previous matches, is where you can Devouring Maw into the Mosh Pit, but likely it's going to be a Stage Dive here, especially because of the Sky Temple.
Yeah, definitely so. As ultimately, they're still thinking about this one. They've used up all of their time, broken into a third of their time pool now. Maybe thinking about what order they're going to pick their heroes, warriors, support now. Maybe take the choices away from Wellmet. Do they add more damage to their lineup now, and then react to the picks that Wellmet go for? It's an interesting situation to be in, because you could, in theory, grab your perfect draft, but then Wellmet could maybe counter that a little bit with their final 2 picks, and Alternate really taking their time about this one.
Yeah, I feel like they might want to get Malfurion here to deny, and there,
There it
as
is.
I say it, the Malfurion pick coming into the play, because you don't want to have the Devouring Maw into Entangling Roots combo. It's just so very devastating, and it's going to be Brightwing coming out here for Team Alternate as well. Double healer on Sky Temple. Actually, double sustain, I mean, double healer for the sustain is quite nice, because you just have to fight over these temples and kind of just stay alive and force yourself to be on top of the point, not necessarily securing kills, just kind of outlasting. And
Yeah.
Brightwing, such a potent pick against Illidan as well for the option of Polymorph and Emerald Wind, should they decide to go for it. But yeah, and not to mention the global presence aspect of Brightwing on that Sky Temple.
I mean, Brightwing, of course, could go for that Emerald Wind here as well, because Malfurion, with his Tranquility, that's already enough healing, and when you have Brightwing's Gust of Healing in there as well, the Emerald Wind utility could be so good for one of two things. Just use it on a shrine just to stop anyone coming in, or if Illidan goes to the other side of Brightwing, then you use that Emerald Wind to put him even further away from his team.
Yeah, not only that, you have the added aspect of Gust of Healing at level 7 for Brightwing. So, should Brightwing not to decide to go with the Cleanse, that you can also have extra healing from Brightwing as well without going for that Blink heal. But back into the draft here, we do have Wellmet going for Diablo. So maybe Cleanse could be a nice choice there on the Brightwing. We'll have to see what the final pick here is from Wellmet. They do need a healer, and it's going to be that Rhaegar.
It was either going to be the Rhaegar for the Ancestral or the Uther for the Divine Shield there, and they're going to go for the Rhaegar instead there for the added healing. And of course you also have that level 1 healing totem as well, which is going to help in the lanes and the early shrine rotations, as Alternate now grab themselves their tank. And if they have ETC, they've got 2 global pressures on their side, and ETC and Brightwing, they can probably happily solo or take a temple by themselves while the other team go for the other one, and then their damage sources can sort themselves out. And with their damage sources in Jaina and Sylvanas supported by Malfurion, they should be able to sustain themselves up quite far, because of course one of the problems Jaina has is her mana, but when you have the Innovate coming out of the Malfurion, that kind of nullifies the problem.
Yeah, definitely. And it's going to be up to Alternate to choose their tank here. The safe pick is ETC, but I could definitely see some kind of less chosen options. Maybe even an Arthas come out here. But, I mean, double global, ETC, and Brightwing. I feel that has to be the choice here. But Alternate using all of their time pool, and it's going to be that ETC. Yeah. No big surprise here. So, yeah, and then talking about the Rhaegar a little bit, again, Rhaegar with that Ancestral Healing can get so much value healing Diablo because of his just tankiness and his high health pool, but obviously Ancestral Healing, very, very critical spell to cast on Illidan as well. So, really nice survivability with that Rhaegar there. So, it's going to be an interesting game for sure. We do have that Malfurion and Brightwing on the side of Alternate, so they're going to be very, very healthy as well.
Yeah, the double support meta we used to see was from around 2 or 3 months ago now, a few patches back, and it worked so well because it would be about players surviving so long in those team fights. And as you said, Sky Temple, you don't really want to go for maybe the kills, you just want to make sure that your team survive with more members than the enemy, so that you're actually able to hold those shrines and do it with a lot of HP.
Yeah, and it's not like they don't have any damage either. I mean, they have Jaina, they have Sylvanas. They can even go for more of an offensive Brightwing here. They could go for Envenom. They can go for Emerald Wind to really put a lot of hurt on that Illidan, prevent him from doing the damage that he needs to do. But yeah, I mean, double global presence, double healer, just insane utility to deal with the threat of Illidan. The silence, Willing Arrow coming out from Sylvanas, and just the burst coming out from Jaina.
Yeah, they've essentially got a very nice team just to take Illidan out of a fight here with that Envenom. Also with the, as you said, the Polymorph, then level 16, that Criterize coming in, 25% more damage on Illidan. That's why they banned out the Tyrande, because that Hunter's Mark does so much damage. Or increases the damage by so much. Then at level 16, if Illidan's polymorphed, he can't get the Stone Skin or First Aid off, he's going to get bursted down oh so quickly.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, there is a threat on Wellmet as well. I mean, you have the option of Devouring Maw into I mean, they have a wombo threat as well. I mean, they could go for Apocalypse, and I mean, they lack the Malfurion for the lockdown, so Lightning Breath wouldn't be the best option. Could go Devouring Maw into Apocalypse, into some Rain of Vengeance, or even Strafe could be good to clean up there. But yeah, I mean, definite wombo potential on the side of Wellmet. So Alternate is going to be has to be very careful to not get hit by that Devouring Maw. They do not want to get 2-3 heroes into that. It could be very, very bad for them.
Yeah, as we're now just waiting for these guys to ready up in the lobby. We currently have 5 out of the 10 ready, and then we'll get this game underway. And so far we've had, what, 4 best of ones, and we've seen 3 different maps? Yeah, that's not a bad ratio.
No, certainly not. We're getting pretty good map varieties today. We did have that best of one on Haunted Mines between Next and Team Alternate. And I mean, a lot of people complain about that map. I like it, and now we're going to get the Sky Temple. And really, really nice variety today. Yep. Not as much Blackhearts. I mean, that's the map that's my least favorite map. And we had a lot of Blackhearts games yesterday, actually, but a little bit more of a variety today, and really enjoying it.
Now, while we're just waiting for these guys to ready up, what are your thoughts on Tomb as a map at a competitive level?
I think it's a pretty fun map. The only problem is I feel like the mechanic is tuned a little bit incorrectly. I feel that they need to adjust it. But I mean, look at the history of Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
When it first came out, the Dragon Knight. I mean, look at how fearsome it is at 20 minutes now. Back then, in the early days, you didn't even go for the Dragon Knight late game. It was just not good enough. It was a liability even. And now, if you get a Dragon Knight late game, that's pretty much game over.
Just right-click and win.
Get on that core immediately. So I feel that Tomb is in a very early stage still. I mean, we will probably see some pretty big changes to it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my feeling as well. I feel like the early game is very fast-paced because it's so quick to roam. But then, in towards the mid-late game stage, it slows down way too much, in my opinion. Like, for such a small map, it drags out a little bit too long.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that with the proper tweaks, it could be a really fun and exciting map. But right now, just a little bit weak on the mechanic at certain stages of the game. It starts strong, but just kind of tapers off towards the late game and becomes more about winning a fight and then just kind of pushing in.
Yeah.
But
it's kind of like how the opposite of Sky Temple was when that was introduced, because the second shrine really determined who won the game. It was then their game to throw, but the XP tweaks and the shrine rotation tweaks that came in a few patches ago really did fix that. You're seeing a lot more prolonged games, a lot more even games on this map, as we're about to probably find out between Alternate and Wellmet as we're going to start loading in.
Yeah, and this should be a really interesting game. Definitely strong comps on the side of both teams here. Lots of heroes chosen that are quite strong on this map. We have the Brightwing and ETC. We have the double healer from Alternate. I mean, I really like that comp. It feels like they thought about each pick really, really good there. They have triple Envenom there for Illidan. So, the Jaina, the Sylvanas, the Brightwing, lots of potential to blow up the Illidan and really deal with him and just kind of heal through him, as well as also providing that global pressure.
Yeah, and we're now into the game, and on the left-hand side we have the team of Wellmet. We're going to start things off with Soke on the Diablo, Hazuobs on the Zagara, Sport Billy on that Master Skin, Rhaegar, Shadowmare on the Vala, and in the bot lane we have Survolt on the Illidan.
And on the right side of the map, spawning as the red team, we have Team Alternate. It's going to be Nande on Sylvanas, Gluehammer on ETC, Guccio on Jaina, Crowloo on Brightwing, and Dark Wannix on Malfurion.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to see something a little bit funky to start things off. Nande, Guccio, and Gluehammer down in this bottom half of the map. Looks like they don't want to go for the standard contention of the Watchtower. Instead, they might try and go for this early pick down into this bot lane on what is likely to be an Illidan.
Yeah, Alternate likes to do these little funky invades, and I really, really like it, other than the fact that this push is happening in the top here. Really, really nice there by Wellmet to get some damage, but we have the counter push again by Alternate as well, trying to do some damage to this wall here.
Yep, of course they have the Sylvanas as well, so these towers aren't going to be firing. It's all down to what damage Illidan can do, and right now the answer's not a lot, because he can't really get into melee range there, and Gluehammer's a pretty beefy cow. This is going to be the second tower going down. It's in fact just going to get mirrored. But again, Krolu can actually do a little bit more damage here onto Sport Billy than Illidan can do onto the side of Alternate.
Yeah, really, really aggressive early games here coming out from Sky Temple. Not the typical thing we see for sure, but yeah, that Sylvanas is really able to put the hurt on, but in the top lane as well, we did have Well Met taking out both cannon towers, and now we have the rotation. We have Well Met coming to defend their fort here as the first temples of the game spawn.
Yeah, but this is almost perfect timing because they can just leave Nunde down here to grab, or at least deal quite a bit of damage onto this fort while the rest of the team rotate up. Gloomhammer grabs the attention of 3 members of Well Met, but he's going to be able to get out of that one. Serval still not healed up to his liking on that Illidan, and now Nunde's got friends down in this bot lane. Is going to escape this one. Could in fact turn on Soke if Soke went a little bit too aggressive. And again though, Gloomhammer going to go on to Shadowmare in this mid lane alongside Guccio. 3 versus 3 now that Dark Onyx is here on this Malfurion. Illidan's going to go in here onto Guccio. He's going to get taken down low, but as is Guccio, who's going to fall first? It's going to be the Jaina, and then they get the return kill as Gloomhammer's going to get knocked past Shadowmare here. Doesn't have the mana for a power slide just yet. Does get the Innovate coming out from Malfurion, but a 1-for-1 trade there, and we actually still see Alternate with this level lead.
Yeah, and Alternate once again getting control of the middle temple. We did have Sylvanas kind of pushing in the bottom lane here, doing a lot of damage to Diablo. Diablo was forced to back a bit, and then Brightwing was getting some soak in the top lane here. But oh, Hasuab's getting caught out a little bit. Is he going to fall here? And
looks like he might. He is. There it is. As now the Servolt's here as well, alongside Sport Billy. Gloomhammer's coming. Guccio though, getting very low this time. He's also going to go down, but now it's just 2-on-1. Servolt, last man standing here for Well Met. Going to have to fall back from that one. Luckily they didn't keep chasing. They are out of mana though, Gloomhammer and Krolu. So they're going to grab their second temple of this first rotation and extend their lead even further.
Yeah, definitely a good position for Alternate, and we were talking about the possibility of triple Envenom, but it's actually going to be Protective Shield and Snowstorm. But as I say that, Illidan is in a lot of trouble here, and Rhaegar comes to heal him up just in the nick of time.
Yep. Guccio though still looking for this kill onto the Illidan. Does now have company with Sport Billy and Hasuabs. They could contest this, but as we say that, Krulu's going to phase shift in here. Servolt still hanging around, getting these heals from Sport Billy. The healing totem down as well. They could look to go on to Guccio again. He is a pretty easy target, but the gust of healing being used by Krolu here is going to keep him sustained up. Nice level 7 talent.
Yeah, and we finally have Illidan coming in here, getting polymorph just a little bit. Guccio getting protective shielded.
And there it is, Guccio going down again. Servolt just about surviving. Sport Billy taking a lot of damage. Gloomhammer though could be caught out here. They are trying to chase onto Krolu, who is just going to escape that one. Gloomhammer might do the same, especially with Dark Onyx coming around behind him. Servolt is going to get rooted up here. In fact, they could maybe find a kill onto him. In fact, they're going to go onto Dark Onyx now as he gets flipped by the Diablo over the top. Shadowmare coming around. Servolt now on good HP. Krolu's here now as well. This is just manic action all across the map. And we're not actually going to see someone go down just yet. Soke could look to go in here, as could Shadowmare, but Soke's taken a lot of damage already, and he'll now fall. Sylvanas nullifying this tower, and that's that going to go down.
Yeah, Team Alternate in really good shape here, being up a full level, and now we're going to kind of get into that stage of the game where you go for your mercenary camps, and it's actually going to be a stolen Siege Giant camp here for Alternate, grabbing that right there from Well Met. Let's talk a little bit about the talents. We do have the Mule coming out on Malfurion. We do have Gust of Healing on Brightwing. Sylvanas going for more of an assassin build with the follow through, but we do again have that Q build coming out from Shadowmare on the Vala.
Yeah, you said he played it like played the Vala like this yesterday, and he's doing it again here. No real big melee threats for him, so really just going for that single target damage. If he can get that Q onto a Brightwing, a Jaina, a Malfurion, anyone but ETC, it's going to do a very nice chunk of damage.
Yeah, definitely that Q build being a lot of burst damage potential. And other than that, the talent's looking pretty normal here. We do have Alternate going for their Bruiser camp. We do have ETC kind of pressuring the bottom against Diablo with those Siege Giants in the bottom lane. And yeah, I mean, Well Met's going to have to be really careful there. That fort is getting quite a bit low.
This Bruiser camp though, it got taken, they can't grab it just yet. Servolt and Shadowmare are going to come in here. This is a bit of a mistake coming out from Alternate, and Well Met just going to grab this one for free.
Yeah, nice little play there by Well Met to abuse and get that Bruiser camp, and now there's a ton of pressure. Double Bruisers pushing into the top port of Alternate.
Yeah, as we actually have Soke down in this bot lane by himself already, not going for the temple just yet, as Gluehammer has now joined them. They're going to be one-on-one down here for now, the battle of the warriors, but Gluehammer does have the advantage. He's actually got Mosh Pit on this map as well. Instead of the stage dive, they only have Brightwing for the global pressure, who has, as we suspected, taken that Emerald Wind.
Yeah, Emerald Wind going to be really, really nice against that Illidan. Polymorph into Emerald Wind can kind of spell doom for Illidan in a lot of situations if he's not too careful. But again, we have Wellmet pressuring that top fort, going for the kill, as Alternate is just content to take that bottom temple.
And they're going to do exactly that. Gluehammer, though, he doesn't have this stage dive, so he can't join his team that quickly. And look at Nunde in this mid lane, just getting even more damage on to this mid fort. But he is now a little bit out of position. Could be caught out here by Hasu and co, as they're actually going to come down here. Gluehammer's retreating. Nunde does get charged, flipped over, is going to be able to escape that one. The Metamorphosis coming in, though, gets snared up just as he pops out of there. That was a very nice entangling roots from Malfurion.
Nice haunting wave there also by Nande to get out, and they forced the Metamorphosis out of Wellmet, and now the re-engage is happening.
Yeah, they're going to go onto Illidan. The Ancestral Healing not coming in at the right time there. Sportbilly does get silenced, so he couldn't even heal himself afterwards. And he will fall. So a 2-for-0. Really nice fight there coming out from Alternate. And they're going to reward themselves by taking this boss here as well.
Yeah, really, really nice pickup there. A kind of botched engage by Wellmet. Seeing that the Nande, the Sylvanas of Alternate, was out of position, but just using too many of the resources.
Could be a Devouring Maw here somewhere. And there it is. It's only 2 members. Should have been used a little bit earlier. They could have got 4 or 5 maybe. The Apocalypse being used as well just for pure disengages. This easy camp does get bribed away by the Brightwing as well. A lot of pressure coming down onto this bot lane.
Yeah, tons of pressure coming onto this bot lane. Siege Giants and a Grave Golem, and Alternate very, very close to level 13, so not necessarily afraid to take a fight. I mean, they do have Mosh Pit, Ancestral Healing, the only heroic available on the side of Wellmet as well. So, I mean, yeah, it's kind of scary here for Wellmet.
It is, as those are the 2 towers down. We still have Diablo in this top lane, not really doing too much, just soaking XP to try and get that advantage. Serval is gonna, I believe he also got Ancestral in there, but still fell down, as now Hasuwab's doing his best to defend this with those Banelings, not doing too much damage. Shadowman having to vault away, and that's now the keep down as well, and they could keep on pushing here if they wanted to grab the tower, but it's shrine time, and Soke, you'd like to think, is going to get the top shrine, while Alternate get this bottom one.
Okay, so we do have that level 13 talent here coming out now for Alternate. They do have the improved Ice Block, which is very, very strong against Wombo Combo. If you get caught into that, you can just Ice Block. So very nice pickup there by the Sylvanas. And we also have the Ice Block on Brightwing. So very, very nice double Ice Block composition here coming out from Alternate.
Yeah, of course, Brightwing using that so that she can't get interrupted whilst using that Emerald Wind. Of course, it does have an activation time. If you Ice Block, it keeps you very safe during the full channel of that, and the duration of the Emerald Wind allows you to escape there as well. But Alternate, they went aggressive towards this top lane. They knew Soke was up here, and we're actually going to see them back out, just leave Krolu up here after they took down the main Guardian. And now they're just going to push here into this top lane and try and get this keep whilst the shrines do their damage.
Yeah, Wellmet wanted to avoid any kind of fight when they were not on that level 13 talent tier. Just trading, going for the opposite side of the map, not wanting to fight Alternate, but Alternate taking advantage of that, getting some bruisers out here, stealing them right from under Wellmet's nose, and yeah, just forcing Wellmet to kind of pull back and deal with this threat.
Yeah, as now Soke rotating around. We still have Illidan in this bot lane, who did take away this Siege Giant camp, which is doing some damage to this bottom tower here. It's being counteracted by the Mule, but should be able to get it anyhow. Top lane, Alternate grabbing away the hard camp as well. Illidan just defending this bot lane, and we're kind of in a lull in the play where Wellmet can't really warrant themselves getting into a fight because Alternate are so close to hitting this 16. There's no shrines up either.
Yeah, Alternate doesn't want to necessarily fight either. They want to wait for that level 16. They're so very close to it. And yeah, that would just be really, really good for them to get that huge power spike. We do have the level 13s out now, but I mean, both these teams are kind of collapsing, and now Alternate on that level 16 talent tier, getting their pretty standard stuff. You know, Criterize, we talked about the W upgrade for Sylvanas to make targets vulnerable and imposing actually on ETC. But we have an engagement here.
Gonna go on to Soke here, trying to burst him down. The Wailing Arrow is gonna silence everyone in there. Shadowmare gets caught up in that mosh pit. Servo is gonna Metamorphosis out of there, but can't do it in time. Soke's back up, could follow this up with an APOC. And there it is, 5-man wombo combo, but there's only 4 members here left. They get 1 kill. They're trying to get onto Gluehammer here as well. He's taken down. Rhaegar now falls as well. Gluehammer getting very low, but they can still sustain themselves up, of course, with the Malfurion and the Brightwing. Gluehammer does get engaged upon by Soke. Soke is going to be the one falling here, and they could push to grab this keep.
Such a nice Maw and Wombo combo by Well Met there, but just unfortunately happening a little bit too late, and the double ice block just being such an important factor in that fight, and yeah, just not really able to capitalize and get the full wipe there. But nice attempt by Well Met, but just didn't work out for them.
Yep, as we're going to have Krolu go up to this top lane to grab this shrine. The boss is up in about 30 seconds or so. They're going to tap into mid and go up and join their Fairy Dragon in that top side. As Well Met, they really need to do something here, because I feel like their keep is gonna fall from this temple.
Yeah, they are in a really bad shape, losing a lot of buildings, not having many structures left in the game, keep getting quite low in that top lane. But they need level 16 to contest any kind of fight. So what are they doing? They're going for Siege Giants. I feel they need to take some structures, though. They really need to trade structures. I mean, that's what Alternate is doing by getting the temple, so they need to trade as well. But now they're finally on that level 16 talent tier. 3 Blood for Bloods coming out from the side of Well Met.
That's a lot of burst coming in from Well Met, and then you follow that up with the Illidan, Zagara and Valor damage, and that's going to be at least 1 person dead should they get all their 3 Blood for Bloods off. And they've hit this 16, they're going to go aggro straight away onto this mid 4. They should get this one safely, as only Gluehammer is joining now. Krolu can of course phase shift in now that that temple is down. Krolu might in fact just decide to stay top here and push out and only come down when she's needed.
Yeah, putting insult to injury with that additional experience, extending the lead there of...
In fact, they're gonna flip Gluehammer, but he's just gonna power slide out.
Yeah, I mean, really a nice attempt there, but just no follow-up, and yeah, he's able to get out with his life. Siege Giant's coming out here, but yeah, I mean, look at the lanes for Alternate. They're all pushing out, other than the mid lane. I mean, they still have that keep in the mid, so not as much pressure in that lane from Alternate. But yeah, Alternate just content to back off here, not really worried about taking a fight just yet. Kind of have a lull in the action, but that boss is a threat for sure, and that could be contested right here.
Yep, Hasu's Hearthstone though does get stopped by Gluehammer, as he now has to mount up and get out of there. Shadowmare is already mounted up, just scouting here. They really need Hasu to get a solid more here into APOC out this boss, and this could really turn the tides.
Yeah, Alternate has to be careful not to throw here, though. That's the only thing that I'm worried about. I mean, they were able to start it.
There's the Wailing Arrow with the Emerald Wind. It's not going to do too much just yet. Servo jumping in. There's the Rain. 4-man, 3-man more is what they needed, but Valor's already fallen down. Metamorphosis coming in as well into the APOC. Guccio's, Gluehammer's going to fall. Guccio next on that Jaina, but it's just not enough. Guccio will in fact survive. It's now just Servo and Hasu left, 2 versus 3. The Water Elemental still, of course, doing damage after Jaina had fallen, and you've got to think now this could be game. 30 seconds on Valor, 44 on the Zagara, and Brightwing Krolu looked like he wanted to grab the shrine, but his teammates said otherwise. They're just going to try and push this one for the win.
Yeah, it's going to be an empty core here for the side of Well Met, and Alternate just, well, it looks like they're just going to go for the safe route, get those temples. I mean, why risk anything? I mean, the spawn timers aren't exactly that high yet, so I mean, it's still going to be a ton of damage onto this core here. We have catapults. I mean, the creeps did spawn for Well Met, but I mean, oh man, the double temples and the Grave Golem, this is looking like could possibly be the end.
Yeah, now that this keeps going to go down now, that's GG coming out from Puccio already. It's just melting the core right now. 30%, 20%, and there it is. GG in favour of Alternate, and they move on to today's grand final, which is going to be a best of 3, and the winner, of course, moves on into the second Gosu Cup with the potential of winning $5,000.
Yeah, really, really nice job by Alternate here. I mean, they